Um, Hello, hello. Okay, so I think we're gonna officially get started because we've got a nice little crew here, and we're just gonna keep it breezy, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. So my name is Kyle Stockburger, and I am the writer, one of the producers, and played the role of Francis. And first and foremost, I just really want to say thank you. We wouldn't be here without you, and not only the financial support, which logistically we need to help make the film happen, just the emotional support and the encouragement of saying, you believe in us and our work. It's so encouraging for an artist. So thank you so much. So yeah, so that's me. I'm gonna turn it over to Adam. You know, give your little spiel.
Hi, my name's Adam Patterson. I played Aaron in the film, and I also helped produce it along with these fellas. I'm really excited to finally be sharing it with people. We filmed this several months ago, and it was really exciting for all of us to work on, and I'm really excited to share it with the world. And I couldn't be more grateful for all of you that were able to be here tonight and watch it, because that means that you have supported our art habit. And it was such a boon to me this year to have this project to work on, and I'm just pleased as punch.
Thank you, and Richard, go for it.
Yes, hello. My name is Richard H. Pluim. I directed Tom's Bench. Yes, again, thank you all so much. Also, shout out to Kate Moley, who executive produced this, along with most of you watching here live. Yeah, it was a really wonderful project, and it was a pleasure to be able to work with this team. So thank you.
So this really is like yeah, open to y'all. We don't have any sort of set agenda, but feel free to ask anything in the comments, whether it's about the story or how we made this happen in 2020, or the fundraising or the actual day of the shoot. I mean, anything is open. So we're just here, and we're so happy that we're just grateful to have had this experience. So yeah.
So while people are typing, so we already have. Tom Stockburger asks, "What are the plans for getting it out there?"
That's a great question. So I actually Seed and Spark, which is the site that we did our crowdfunding through, had like a little webinar. I'm first time film producer the other day, where I just learning about distribution and what you actually can do with short films, and part of it is really thinking about like what the goal is for the what was the goal and the intent behind creating the project. And I know for me, other than just like sharing the story and creating art, it really was to like get something on film that we could say, here, this is the thing we have, and we can share it so that we can show it to people. And for short films, they're not really known. They're not like big money makers. So that's like not really the aim here. Kind of the next sort of route is we're going to submit to film festivals, and that's just a way of building audience and sharing our work. And then once we kind of have done that, then we'll just do sort of like a wide release where people can view it online, unless distribution comes up or other things. And feel free to chime in, Richard and Adam, too. I don't want to just like
Yes, yeah, I'm very excited for for submitting it to the festivals, and to finding new collaborators, and seeing if we can build on the team to let it grow into seeing how the story can grow, possibly, or let it be a sort of a gateway into the new stories that we'll tell. Yeah. So let's see. Jenny 00789 asks, "What was the main source of inspiration for the story?"
Yeah, so that it's like funny now, and here like making me a little emotional, but there's sort of two sides of the inspiration for the story. So one is I was at my day job, my office job, and I was feeling very unfulfilled, which happens occasionally when you're in New York as a creative person and you're working a day job. But I texted a friend of mine, and I just essentially said that, and his response was, write a 10-page scene with 2 characters in 1 location, and we'll film it. It was actually my friend John Andrew, who I believe is here, and that really just kind of got the. I mean, it was really just like, if you're feeling stifled, like, do something, create something. And at the same time, I had a brief fling romance, I don't know what you want to call it, with a European gentleman, and it really, yeah, it was just like, it was such a spontaneous moment of like something happening that was out of the like realm of the hamster wheel of living in New York, that it just kind of like got me to sort of be like, whoa, I can feel alive and I can be spontaneous, and that just sort of led to these other questions of like, what am I doing here? What does it mean to live in New York and be an artist? And it kind of took me down an existential path. So that's another part of it. And the other part is my friend Tom, who I lived in Astoria with, had a bench that he used to go sit on in Astoria Park and meditate and think. And so it was kind of a confluence. Yeah, that's a word, of those, sort of the perfect storm of that. And it really just, yeah, it was one of those things where it was like I had the permission from a friend, and that just kind of opened the door for me to write something. And there was just things going on in my life that were fresh fodder for creative work.
Nice. Okay, we have some more questions, but I'm gonna take cuts. Did we shoot at the real Tom's Bench?
We did not. No, I actually don't know if I know officially. I mean, I know like the general area of it, but I went with Brendan McGowan, our director of photography, a couple days before the shoot to just kind of scope out spots. And it was like right under a bridge, right by this exercise track, which is great if you want to watch people exercise, but it didn't quite have the same sort of lushness of where we shot. Yeah.
Mark Sam Rosenthal asks, when you originally wrote the play, was the setting Astoria Park in your mind or somewhere else? I guess we sort of touched on this a little.
Yeah, no, it's just definitely Astoria. I mean, I feel like that is sort of my own personal, as a writer who lives in New York, is I want to really champion Astoria, because so many actors and creative people live there. And I feel like so much of what you see about New York is like, I'm an affluent person on the Upper West Side, which is great. We love that. But like, that's not everyone's story. Some people live in Astoria and have their dollar pizza, and I wanted to pay homage to that.
Nice. 500 Match asks, did it change much from the stage version to the film version? And I think let's talk about that with the script, but also from each of you performance-wise. How is it to perform this live in front of an audience and then on film?
For me to answer both questions, the answer is it didn't change for me a lot. I don't think, Kyle, the words didn't change very much, did they? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we were working with like pretty much the same material, and we performed it in this very small theater when we did it at what was the name of the festival, Kyle?
The Fresh Fruit Festival.
The Fresh Fruit Festival. It was a really small house, very intimate. So I feel like my choices might have been dialed up a little louder just to reach folks that were farther away than a camera might be to me. But the arc of what I was doing, I feel like it's stayed pretty similar, because it's the heart of the story.
Yes. And for you, Kyle, yeah, what was the distinction in experience between the two?
I mean, I guess the thing, I don't know. I don't know how much the performance changed, but I feel like, because I wrote this in 2018, and then we did it in 2019 was when we did the play, and then we filmed it in 2020. So I know for me as an individual, I've sort of had a lot of growth and change throughout that. And, I sort of feel like Yeah, I was playing. Yeah, it just my life experiences had changed. So I don't know how that influences the performance, but I know essentially when I wrote it, it was, one character sort of, I was sort of telling myself what I needed to hear. And then sort of to play that a couple years later, having grown and changed, was sort of a weird meta experience, which I don't know how that tangibly changed the performance, but internally it felt different.
Cool. Yes. Oh, okay. So Paul Murphy asks important question. How did Can't Hardly Wait win out over citing Coyote Ugly as the referenced movie?
Well, I get a little insight to my process because I sort of use pop culture as a way to like cope with reality for better or for worse. But I think when I thought of like, okay, there's two people sitting on a bench, and it took me to that scene in Can't Hardly Wait where it's sort of like the main character played by Ethan Embry is kind of at this like crossroads, like he's just confessed his love to Jennifer Love Hewitt, but she kind of gave him the cold shoulder. There was like a miscommunication on her end. And then he meets Jenna Elfman, and she's just like, is a random stripper slash angel who tells him what's what. So it really was, it was more, I guess, related to the story, that I mean, I'm sure if there had been a similar Coyote Ugly moment, that would have related to that. But it's, most of my references are from teen movies from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yes, yes. I'm going to see if I can pull up I'm going to see, I think I have it saved an image of like from Can't Hardly Wait and then a shot that we did as an homage. I'll see if I can pull it up in a moment. Let's see, where did we leave off? Kyle Hart's Eurovision Boys XOXO. That was from Mark Sam Rosenthal. Tom.
That's where I met the European in question, was at a Eurovision watch party.
Yes. Tom O'Connor, I believe, seconds that. I think that's what the carrot tops mean. Is that what that means? Like referencing the above thing? I hope so.
Yeah. There's been a lot of Europeans in my life.
Patricia Pluim, I think this is a great short. Thank you, Mom. Paul Murphy, did you get much rehearsal as a trio? No. We had a day of rehearsal for the film. We had a day of rehearsal before. Fortunately for this, the blocking is not that complex for the actors. It's let's meet on the bench and then have the exchange. So that didn't take very long. I knew that this was a play, that this was performed as a play already. So, and while this was the first time I worked with Adam, I've worked with Kyle before we went to grad school together. So I knew that the performances were going to be fantastic. I knew that I wouldn't really have to do much at all for that, which turned out to be quite true. As you all saw, that was their own work completely. So rehearsals weren't really needed. Did you two rehearse much without me?
No, and I would say just a quick shout out to Marissa Blankier, who directed us when we did it on stage, because I know we did. I mean, it was very lace up your bootstraps, but I know we did a few rehearsals with her before we doing it on stage, and then we met in person a couple. I think actually it was the day before we shot to do sort of a walkthrough and get some acting notes as well.
In the pouring rain.
Yes. In the pouring rain. It was raining. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but then we lucked out with a beautiful day shoot of beautiful sunshine on what we call the day. Yeah. Jenny 00789. What challenges were there with shooting during a pandemic?
I mean, I can. It was crazy. I mean, I think we lucked out because it was a very small crew and it was outside and there were only 2 performers, so we didn't really have to worry about like ventilation or anything like that.
Right.
We did make sure. I obviously, Richard coming from LA, make sure everyone was tested and all that, and I don't know. I mean, maybe Adam can speak to this, but I think for me, because we filmed in October, and I feel like in New York from like maybe mid-June until about the end of October, there was sort of this like breath. It was like people were coming up for a little bit of a breath between the waves. And so we were sort of at the end of that. And so I think, while still keeping the precautions, we all felt a little bit more at ease than I think we would have months. I mean, I didn't think this was going to happen at all, honestly. But yeah. Adam, if you have any
It
thoughts.
might not have had you not poked in with the two of us. After Kyle and I had been talking about trying to make this into a film before the pandemic happened. We sort of had some light plans underway. We had been meeting like every couple of weeks over coffee to just lay some groundwork to get things going. And it was right about when I think we were probably going to get things started when the pandemic hit. And for me, I thought that the project was going to evaporate forever. But then Kyle reached out to us, and it was during that lull, which it just felt like perfect timing because we were able to do it safely. Everyone was tested, and we wore masks between takes for the most part. And yeah,
you were also sitting kind of at the end of the bench.
We were definitely 6 feet apart the whole time.
Yeah, and that's a big shout out to Richard too, because I was kind of in the same boat as Adam, where I thought the project was DOA, but then Richard randomly reached out at the beginning of July and was like, "Let's do this," and I was like, yeah, that sort of pumps some energy back into it.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I guess my angle of that time period was I spoke with Kyle before COVID-19 came into the world, and because Kyle knew that I'd worked on some short film stuff out here in LA, and was kind of so we had a nice discussion about how to approach it and what works, and some things that didn't work for me I was able to share. So then by this kind of July period last year, I thought, hey, I really like that script. Like, I wonder what's going on with that. And so I reached out to Kyle and I said, what's going on with this? And if if nothing's going on, I would totally love to direct this, but not to, kind of oust anyone else who may be set to do this, but what's going on here? And and so then from there we just kind of said, can we do this? And we did find a nice little window where we were able to, and I was able to travel and all of that. Yeah. So that was that. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure. Oh, where was this shot? Okay. Yeah. So earlier this was shot in Astoria Park in is it count as Queens? I don't want to say the wrong words. It's Queens. Okay. Yes. So in New York. So like this beautiful park that looks out into Manhattan. John Andrew Morrison, UES lady now. I don't know what that means. Probably one of you two do.
Oh wait, what? I'm looking. Oh, Upper East Side. I live on the Upper East Side now. I did leave Astoria.
Oh, yes, yes. Mark Sam Rosenthal, Kyle, you saying you're not a stripper / angel was everything. There was a lot of LOL and even tears packed into 8 minutes. Seriously, lovely. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I love that moment too. Yes. I also love Adam's reaction when he goes, "Look, I was waiting, and or no, when you say it makes life more interesting for me," and then he's just like, "What?"
Can you think of anything more rude to say to a stranger?
I know. I will say, and it's actually no one who's here, but I do have a friend that sort of just will just go sit and talk to anyone, and it's like whether they want to be a part of the conversation or not. So that was a bit of, and I love this person, but I
yes. I'm not sure what to ask, but I really enjoy the acting. That was from my mom.
Thank you.
I enjoy the acting too. You had to cut the makeout scene because of COVID. That was from John Andrew Morrison. Yeah, can't do the makeout scenes. Debbie Garland, I was anticipating a pickup line in the beginning of the interchange. Were we supposed to be wondering about the motive of Francis?
I mean, I think there is this element because I feel like a lot of, I mean, not to generalize, but a lot of like LGBT shorts, are about like romantic connections or, hookups or what. I mean, that's a big thing. And I think there was something that was like, I'm always sort of interested in playing with people's expectations about what the encounter is going to be, because of course in my mind I'm like, I always just want people to like fall in love and get married and everything, but life is a little bit more nuanced and complex than that. So I want to give people room to breathe, where it's like, okay, maybe it isn't happily ever after, and that's okay. Maybe they don't get together, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I also, by the end, I'm left as an audience member really curious about this Autumn Harvest Gratitude Walk. Like, I want to see that conversation. It's like, who's that friend you were meeting, Francis? Like, how does this? I love that about this, that it brings a very real New York that's just ever, I don't know, it's expansive and interweaving, weaving. I'm sorry, I'm losing my track as new ones pop up. Sigourney Weaver says, Kyle, I think your t-shirt is fantastic.
Oh yes, I do. I do love Sigourney Weaver. I needed some Sigourney energy for tonight. I mean, she's just an icon, so we love Sigourney.
Yes. Mark Sam Rosenthal, that behind the bench shot of the two of you guys was framed so beautifully, by the way, kudos. That's my favorite shot in the film also. Huge shout out to Brendan McCowan, who was our cinematographer. Yes, he did fantastic camera work. And yeah, I thought, in this 8 minute, in an 8 minute short, there is this aspect of, and it being a park bench, it's how can we keep this visually engaging to kind of match the conversation that they're having. And I thought, okay, but then there's this line of, letting the story and letting the dialogue be what causes the shift in perspective or an angle or in the shot used. And so I thought that this kind of nice break where Aaron has this shift would be cool. We get to see the sky, we sort of see the nice forest above him, kind of his headspace, and then Francis over his head. We have the bridge itself, just sort of his kind of linking the two. I don't know, and sort of he's sort of an usher in a sense for Aaron from his current space to this new mind space. Yeah, I love that shot. It's a beautiful park. Who made that bridge? I don't know. I'm horrible.
I think that's the Triborough Bridge, right? I'm a bad New Yorker. I think it's the RFK Triborough Bridge.
When I came in to New York, I went on that bridge. The train crossed that bridge, so I was on that train, that Amtrak that crosses. And so I thought that was cool. I got to be there before we shot. Jenny Almgreen, are there any upcoming projects you are considering or writing?
Yeah, so I have a couple of projects. One, a few people on here know about. It's a holiday film I've written called Bouche de Noël, which is sort of I say it's a queer pagan take on the Hallmark TV Christmas movie. I feel very passionate about that. And then I guess it's a limited series that I would like to develop that's sort of about people who move to New York, and kind of similar to what I was talking about earlier. It's sort of like what happens when you realize that like that happily ever after isn't going to happen, and which sounds bleak, and it's like a little bleak, but it actually ultimately is sort of about how, there's four characters, and they're all artists, about how they sort of find new ways to kind of live in the world after they sort of realize that their quote unquote dream isn't going to be what they thought it was going to be. Yeah. So yes, put that energy out. It's
Yes. And Adam, are there any upcoming projects that you're ready to share about or kind of hint towards?
I mostly work in theater, and that is just now starting to, shake off the dust after the past year. So I've recently been working on like workshopping a thing with a few people, but I'm not really supposed to say what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, those are the rules. Those are the rules,
I'm
folks.
doing things, but can't talk about them.
Excellent.
But that's when you know it's like exciting, because it's like, oh, we can't talk about it.
Mhm.
Really, at this point, I'd be excited with anything. I have just missed working in theater so much this year. It's been very sad.
Mm.
Really pumped.
Yes. John Andrew Morrison, how long was your shoot day? I really don't remember. Was it 6 hours?
It was around 6 hours.
Like 8 to 2 or something. Yes. So
it went by really fast.
Yes. And how long did it take to make 8 minutes? It was a little bit tricky because of the sun, and we have very, very limited crew, and so we were kind of chasing the sun. We couldn't have too harsh of sunlight and then shadow from the trees in one moment and then gone the next on the actors' faces. So that kind of took a little bit of time. That sort of contributed to this hurry up and wait. Like, okay, we got to wait for the sun to be at the right height to get through the tree or past the tree, and then we got to get it quickly before it leaves the tree. So there was a little bit of that, but it wasn't. I've had worse than that on worse stressors in other projects. So yeah, I guess 6 hours. The worst, one of which was waiting for the train to go by behind Adam's head. Yes, yeah, that was. I was very thankful to everybody for that shot. We finished everything at the location throughout the day. I think 2 or 3 trains did go by that we waited for, and then did what we're working on, and it came down to getting that shot. And I really wanted to get that moment, to begin with that moment. And it's Amtrak. It's not an MTA. Is it MTA or is here MTA? It's not a subway train. It's a Amtrak. So it was more difficult to figure out when the next one would come because Amtrak's come from all over, I guess, or at least via iPhone. I couldn't figure it out. So we waited an hour, and kind of right as I was about to say, well, sorry, thanks guys, we could go home. We heard a rumbling, and so we hurried and got it. So I think that was probably the most time consuming for it. So yeah, thank you for your patience. The hour. How did you get the squirrel? How did you cast the squirrel near the start of the movie? Craft services. No, I don't. I think that was just real. That was that take.
That was, yeah. Well, like, and I noticed too, there were like people jogging and stuff. Like, we didn't plan that. Those were actual people exercising.
Yeah. Yes. Although some of them I did in the editing, I did plan that a little bit. The squirrel, I just kind of let be because I loved that take. But for there's a jogger that goes behind Adam's head, and I purposely used that and cut it so that we would see the kind of return of that. Just this, so we had a background actor that doesn't know. So yeah, it was cool. There was a lot going on during the park, and some of it got to be in the movie, and some of it didn't. Hell's Gate and Triborough, now called RFK, I think.
Yes, there's 2 bridges that go through the park.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Yes. People love the squirrel. That's Amtrak crossing the Hell's Gate Bridge. Yes. Cool. Let's see. So that's it for the questions now. If you do have anyone, please go ahead and feel free to ask us. I had one that I was saving for this moment, but I've forgotten it. Yeah.
Wait, did you? Oh, you were saving it, but you forgot. I thought I was waiting in anticipation for you to reveal what the question was.
I did forget it. I had saved. Ooh. Cool. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Adam, on the project, or final word?
Just feeling really happy and grateful.
Yes. Cliff Hoppers, what festival will this be in? Hopefully several. That's all happening now, the submissions. So We'll keep you all posted, I'm sure, because we have the list of everyone from Seed and Spark. Is that right?
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll keep you all posted. I don't think I have any more messages. Thank you all so much. Yeah, Kyle, did you want to close this out?
Yeah, I mean, thanks again. Like I said, I mean, I think just the support and sort of the in the encouragement and like saying yes, here, make a movie, and we believe in you. Like that just is really invaluable. So thank you, and I'm so glad we got to share it with you. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. So
Cool. Yes, thank you. Cool. All right, then I guess
all right,
that's it. Bye, everyone.
that's it. Bye. Good night. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Bye.